Hi, I'm Wendy from Abracadabra Quilting, and in 3 minutes I'm going to teach you how to make this very fun, summery sailboat quilt block. It is a 12-inch quilt block, so it's very ample and you'll find a lot of really fun uses for it. So let's go. The first thing you're going to need is the water. This is a strip that is 12.5 inches by 3.5 inches. The next piece we're going to need is for the hull of the boat. I chose a nice cheery red, and this is also 12.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Now we're going to need some sky, and you're going to need two pieces that are 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches. There they are. You're going to need two squares, which are 3 7/8 inch squares. You're going to need two more squares, which are 3.5 inch squares. And the last thing you're going to need are two 3 7/8 inch squares, which are going to be your sails. We're going to start with the squares first. So we're going to take one of the 3 7/8 inch blocks here, one of the 3 7/8 inch squares of the sky, right sides together, match them up, and we're going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner. Now once this is done, take this square to your sewing machine and stitch 1/4 inch on each side of the diagonal line. So I'm going to do that right now. Alrighty, I've just finished sewing a 1/4 inch seam on each side of the diagonal line, and what I'm going to do now is cut right along that line. So from corner to corner, and we'll open it up, and what you have now is a half square triangle. So what we're going to do is the same thing on the other square, so that we're now going to have 1, 2, and 3, 4 once we cut this one in half. 4 little half square triangles here. So I'm going to take that step now, and I'll be right back. Alright, I have 4 half square triangles. Now you're going to see these little ears here. You can go ahead and just cut those off. And what I did over there at the ironing board, I pressed the seams toward the sky fabric. So we now are going to be ready to sew these together. The next step is going to be to lay out the sail blocks, these little guys here, according to the diagram. And just be careful that you have them all going the right way before you start sewing anything. And then you'll have these little, this is the 6.5 by 3.5 inch piece of the sky. And what you'll do is sew the pieces here, these two together, then you'll sew these two together, and then you'll make the seam here, sewing them into one nice block here, and then you will attach both of the bars here on either side. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine now and sew from here to here, here to here, then sew on this piece and this piece, and I'll come back and show you what we have at that point. Alright, our next step is going to be the hull of the boat here, which is my red piece, and I'm going to take the last 2 squares of sky here and draw a diagonal line across each one of them and place them at the ends, right sides together of the hull, just like this. And note that the direction the 2 lines are slanting down toward the center. Now what I'm going to do this time is sew right on the line. So I'm going to take a minute to do that right now. Here we have the hull of the boat, and we have both of these squares sewed on along the diagonal line. And now what I'm going to do is just cut off about 1/4 inch here on each side, since that is fabric we really don't need there. Then we're going to open it up and press it. Do the same for the other side, and this strip will be done. The hull of our boat is finished. That's this strip right here. So what we're going to do now, our last step, is to sew the sail strip to the hull of the boat strip to the water strip, and our block will be finished. So I'm going to take a minute to do that right now, and we'll show you the finished block in a minute. Here we go. Here's our finished block, and it's awfully cute. Have fun deciding how you want to use it. You may want to turn it, put a frame around it of fabric and use it as a child's pillow. You may want to alternate it with just a plain white fabric block and make it into a lovely quilt top or bedspread. Lots of different ways to use this fun block of little sailboat here. For you beginning quilters, just to let you know, this has been a very rudimentary lesson, and if you want to learn the finer techniques of quilting, you might want to visit abracadabraquilting.com. There are 6 patterns there, and you are taken step by step through the whole process of making a quilt, from choosing your colors all the way through applying a binding, and it's a very complete lesson there. So come visit us at abracadabraquilting.com, and I hope you enjoyed this little lesson on making a sailboat block.